The latest excuse and cop-out by this government to justify the high crime rate is to try to look into the police manpower audit and give the impression that we do not have enough police officers. So because of shortage of enough law enforcement officers is the reason why we have crime. That is a lie. It is yet another cheap excuse by this government for their incompetence. We have an extremely high number of police officers in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service when you compare that to other countries and other cities in relation to the population and the size of the area they're supposed to police. So it cannot be that you're using that as an excuse. And this is the same Trinidad and Tobago Police Service just 2.5 years ago, if you recall Carnival 2020, every single street corner you were seeing 2 police officers. The country was locked down for Carnival where there was not an incident. So we have enough police officers. When it is you look at Arapita Avenue and other places throughout the country, every 3 minutes you are seeing a police vehicle with blue lights. People complained about seeing too many blue lights and hearing too many sirens. We were able to lock down the country with the number of police officers that we had by putting an emergency response patrol, a rapid response unit, ensuring high visibility, that rapid response to provide that deterrent. And you had a response time of less than 5 minutes because you had an effective system using technology of a system with a 999, making sure that persons would be there, take the call, be able to track police vehicles in closest proximity to that distress call and have an emergency unit to respond immediately. So the excuse by this government to say that you do not have enough police officers is yet again a cheap excuse. It shows their incompetence and inability to understand the importance of leadership and management. Because to say that there's a shortage of police officers, this is the same number of police officers we had 2.5 years ago that made the country feel safe. What has caused the difference is when a government is so petty and decide to politicize the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service by shutting down, dismantling all of the technology, the units, the policies, and the systems that lock down the country. That is when you get the problem, and the high crime rate will then kick in. And a simple example to show, you do not need a manpower audit to state that there's a concern pertaining to the shortage of Trinidad and Tobago Police Service officers. That is not true. A perfect example, again, when I became Commissioner of Police, I noticed we had 10 and 12 officers in every station sitting down in the station for the whole day waiting for persons to come to make a report. That was ridiculous. We introduced what was known as online reporting. So whether you had a concern of domestic violence, cybercrime, or whatever, you go online, you report it, and the police officers would come to you. We provided a delivery service. By doing that, we would have ensured that instead of 12 officers sitting down in the station waiting for people to make a report, 10 of those officers can now come out onto the streets and do mobile patrol or foot patrol. That is where you saw the massive number of police officers throughout the country, especially from 2019 to 2021. And that is how it is you can totally transform the police service using technology. People no longer go to police stations to make reports. But again, they remove the online reporting and now all of the officers are back in their stations waiting for people to make a report. And a perfect example was Keith Rowley when he stated that I shut down the Blanchisseuse station. Apart from that being a lie, there was one person who came in that station in 2 months to make a report. So instead of having several officers in there just waiting, we had the majority of the officers outside being there to have high visibility, and that is what is required. We needed to have police officers do policing rather than remain in stations. So all of this talk about manpower audit and shortage of police officers, it was total nonsense.